Hey America, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? This says double A airborne, triple double A airborne right here. Sitting right here, guys, waiting on breaking news. As you are all aware, if I can just turn this down some. As you are all aware, wow. As you are all aware, the United States has launched a airstrike on Iran's nuclear facility. Couple of B 2 bombers, and the rest perhaps from U.S. Navy nuclear power submarines launching Tomahawk cruise missiles. Now, the Iranians are, of course, teed off, upset, and very angry, which is the norm. However, there's been some report as of today, right now, it's nighttime over in the Middle East, and I'm looking at my TV screen. I'm watching missiles hurling, ballistic missiles coming down, not on Tel Aviv, but it's still coming down on Tel Aviv, but this time in Qatar, Iraq, Syria, and United Arab Emirates. So wherever there's a military installation, guys, and I'm getting these report in, and I will share it with you shortly, that these reports that are coming in are showing that the Iranians are doing seems more like a symbolic, and you're welcome to chime in and make and share make a comment at the comment section, please. And again, please like, subscribe, share. But I'm looking here, Wake Up America. I see Qatar has been hit. I've seen our bases in Iraq. I'm not going to name them. Don't let the media do that. You got a base in UAE that's been attacked, and of course our outpost in Syria has been attacked too. Now, my other concern is terrorists on the ground will start making their moves. Okay, sleeper cells in the United States as well. So, what do you believe? Or do you believe that where there's a chance of, and of course, the United States, like New York, places like New York, D.C., on higher alert? Okay. Does this mean that we may have a retaliatory sleeper cell within the United States or its territory, or a military installation somewhere overseas that's going to be hit? Could be Germany, could be France, could be not particularly France, but Germany per se, or Italy. I mean, including Poland are vulnerable, not just the ones in the Middle East. So we got to keep an eye on all of them, even the bases in Guam. What do you think? Do you think there's a chance that Iran proxy will strike our military installation from the ground? Or will Iran continue to launch a barrage of missiles in the UAE, Iraq, Syria, and Qatar? We want to know. Okay, and as of right now, the parliament in Iran is still working on finding a replacement for the current Ayatollah. And of course, if you look on the map here, we're right here, and let's go ahead and zoom in on Bahrain, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and there's of course Dubai. These places, wherever there's a military installation, I'm surprised Kuwait hasn't been hit because we used to have military installations in Kuwait. But our base operations right between here are within range of Iran's medium range missiles. Now let's take a look over here. Even right here in Iraq, we have bases somewhere in Iraq. Okay, somewhere up here, if anything, maybe some here. They may attack the U.S. embassy again, maybe from the ground or from ballistic missiles, or from any of our permanent installations in near the Kurdistan region. Okay, we just don't know. We just don't know. So we'll see. Of course, the base has been attacked here somewhere in Syria. Okay, so this is becoming larger than just the middle, just Iran and the United States. Now, this could be a regional, the potential, this whole thing potentially, in my opinion, to spread into a regional conflict. However, I'm not so sure. Please leave a comment at the chat. What you believe? Do you believe that this could become something bigger than what we think? Will it be become a regional conflict? I know Iran know better to invade Baghdad, okay, or through Baghdad to Kuwait, because the consequences would be severe to their military. But there's this only landlocked area. If they want to get to Israel, they have to go through Baghdad, go through the Baghdad desert, through the Jordan desert, to get to through the West Bank to Israel. Okay, and that's a long journey. If you're looking at logistics, you're looking at water supply, you're looking at food supply. Now they can do an airborne ops and drop on in right at the border of Jordan and charge on in depending on the vehicles, but they're going to be met with for the Iraqi and or Jordanian military if that be the case, and they dare not to do anything within the borders of Saudi Arabia to get to um, Israel. The only thing that I see the Iranians doing is right here through Hezbollah, where they say they don't want no part, or Hamas, which is tied up, being beaten up right here. And of course, the Egyptians are not going to get involved. The only other force that the Iranians have influence is the Houthi region of Yemen, who can do is fire ballistic missiles. That's the best they can do, and I don't see any other way. Or they can have maybe some proxy out here near our military installation. And of course, the military installation is on high alert. And I'm seeing now. I'm looking at videos of Israel, of course, been hit again, and of course the destruction, and a lot of some of it's from maybe from yesterday, but nevertheless, it's real. It's happening. It's happening as we speak, and of course, Iran has made a significant response. It's, it's not what I expect. I expected a more grand response from Iran, but of course, I believe the Islamic uh, State or Iran knows not to push the ladder too far. Losing my throat here. And of course, Iran was hit three parts, three territories. So, I mean, we got ships right here near the Indian Ocean, near the Indian Ocean, or the Arabian Sea, and you never know. It could be anywhere in the Arabian Sea, and they can launch missiles here, up to here, or they may have something they can shoot directly into the Iran. Of course, they got the Mediterranean. Aircraft can fly right over Iraq and Syria airspace, because pretty much Syria is pretty much a state of confusion, and Iraq doesn't have the air power to and wouldn't dare attack U.S. aircraft flying over its airspace. But Iran, on the other hand, it'll be a direct hit towards Iran. We just don't know. It's up to the president of the United States to make that final call. You know, but that's where it's at so far. That's where it's at so far. Let's see. Do I have any news? Okay, here it is. Here's one right here. Iranian ballistic missile being intercepted over Kuwait. So they did fire over Kuwait airspace. Okay. Iran has launched an attack against U.S. bases in 4 countries in the Middle East: Qatar, Bahrain, and I wouldn't dream Bahrain would have been targeted, Kuwait, and Iraq. Now, the country that is missing, of course, is Syria. Syria should be on that list too, but I look on other locations, Syria has been attacked as well. But look at here. Look here. This is not Israel. This is I don't know what city this is, but you see all these missiles coming down. Some are being intercepted, and that's a whole bunch right here. There's no reports of them being shot down. That's to my amazement. But that does not, the skyline definitely does not look like Israel. However, I'm seeing some hits here, but I'm not sure. If anyone who's seen this video can confirm where it is legitimately a U.S. military installation being hit, or is that sometime somewhere in Israel? And I see look like appears to be a bridge right there. So I wonder. I just wonder if that either Bahrain or Qatar. All right, so we'll see. But it doesn't mention anything about Israel on this report from Rebel Warrior. So I mean that remains to be seen. And of course, the Qatar, more conversation about the Qatar base. Several explosions heard over Qatar capital. Now, my question is, were these explosions part of?
So we won't know.
Hold up for a second.
If the Iranian.
Okay. We don't, and somebody else doing the report too, but I like this video right here because it's showing some details over Qatar, and I'm going to pause it for a second.
In Qatar.
Let me pause that for a second. Yeah, so, I mean, this is Bahrain. Of course, this is the air base right here, Qatar Armed Forces Collaboration Center. It's a naval base right here. You know, military base over here, and of course, it's an air base headquarters right there. A lot of military installations in a small location, guys. So my question is, were these bases hit? That's the question I want to know. Answer I need to know. Were they hit? Were they all knocked down prior to hitting the base? I mean, if you know about it, please share, comment, to make a comment, subscribe, like, and subscribe. Were these bases hit? Or is this something going to be much bigger? We want to know. Let's see here. Let's move right along. Okay, of course, air defense is working. This look like Bill Madden here. Great in Iraq, Qatar. I would never dream Qatar or Bahrain would be in an attack, but there's some concerns there. Of course, it's showing this map. Now, they're showing the United States still in Afghanistan. I really like to debunk this. We are not in Afghanistan. We are no longer in Afghanistan. I mean, I'm not sure we're in Kyrgyzstan. We're definitely not in Turkmenistan. Uzbekistan, we're definitely not there. And maybe in Pakistan, but no. We're not in Afghanistan. I believe we're not. Now, if they're in Afghanistan and we paid them billions of dollars, left all our equipment there, then we must have worked out a secret deal with the Taliban. And I don't think too many Americans really like the Taliban, especially veterans like myself. So we'll see how that goes. But I doubt we have any strong presence in Afghanistan, especially when the Talibanis are in charge. Now, Bahrain, Kuwait, yeah, Qatar, UAE, yeah, or maybe Oman, and of course Saudi Arabia and Syria and portion of Iraq. And then we have a base in Turkey. We got pretty much covered. I mean, as far as the western flank of Iran, or maybe the eastern flank of the Persian Gulf. And of course, the U.S. Fifth Fleet is somewhere out there and hidden. And of course, we have our air defense artillery guys in Israel to help the Israelis out. And of course, maybe some people contingents in Jordan. I'm not sure, but you never know. But a lot of our bases are subject to attack. It's just the way it's fact of life. Some of our bases have been attacked in the past. And we, of course, the previous president administration has responded. And I'm speaking, of course, Biden has responded. And, of course, Obama has responded accordingly. But with regards to Trump, there were some strikes. He ordered 3 significant airstrike in Iran. Okay. and it was past due. It's nothing new because we've been fighting their proxy for over 40 years. So it was due time. And hopefully those strikes were dead on target and we don't have to worry about their nuclear capabilities too much unless they receive rebuilt help from China and Russia. And when I say China, I mean the CCP. Okay, Vladimir Putin would be more than happy to, but he got enough problems of his own. It'll behoove him not to be too much involved. Let's see. There's another video. Explosion over Qatar. Let's take a look at that and this here. Okay, it looks like it's quiet, all quiet in Qatar. So we'll go ahead and zoom out of that and move on to the next one. Now, this is a previous video of the Ayudadid Airbase. And let's take a look at that.
الله اكبر مدام مدام.
Now, see, that's what's going up is air defense artillery to shoot down those ballistic missiles that's coming down from Iran. All right, moving on for there. And that's about 1 hour ago. Same video from Qatar with 6 ballistic missile, large U.S. military installations in West Asia, 10,000 troops. Let's take a look at that. So, I'm going to zoom out of that. I do have, let's take a look at the airspace over Qatar live. Of course, this video shows a portion of the Qatari airspace, and it's particularly, I'm assuming, it's been shut down. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, if I can find it, that'll be great. Okay, let's take a look here. All right, I'm getting ready to pull up flight radar 24, flight radar 24. I do have an account with them, and I'm going to go ahead and slide it over. All righty. Yeah, this is flight radar 24. And you see right here, here's Qatar airspace. I see, last time I looked at it about an hour ago, they have at least one aircraft inbound. And that was pretty much it. But I was wondering what this aircraft doing here. Zoom in on it and don't know what it's doing there for. Qatar International Airport. Look like it's grounded. It's not flying. Look like it's grounded. Okay, not scheduled. Okay, that's fine. It's a Qatari aircraft. What's the supposed to be heading on to Kuwait, according to this flight manifest. Or not. That's a different. No, this is a different flight. Okay. All right. But look, as you can see, the airspace is completely cleared. There's nothing flying in, and there's nothing flying out. Everything seems to be flying around Qatari airspace. There may be some activity over Bahrain, and it looks that way. Oh yeah, we do have movement. Earlier, this plane's on standby. This one's taking off from Bahrain. This one appears to be heading towards Dammam. Okay, so I'm not sure. Still, compared to what it was earlier, flight traffic was pretty much at a standstill. Everybody was diverted to fly elsewhere. However, of course, if you look at Iran, their airspace is basically, except for that one aircraft, shut down. Nothing flying. Nothing. Everything flying all around. Of course, in Afghanistan, if you look, it's like most of the air traffic is heading right straight towards United Arab Emirates. There's plenty of traffic there. And of course, through the Persian Gulf to Pakistan and of course India. And in Israel, of course, Saudi Arabia is pretty quiet over Iraq. I don't see any air activities there. I don't see any air assets from any air activities over Syria. Now there's some heading towards Lebanon. Not sure if they're crossing over into Lebanon. I see absolutely nothing over Israel. Of course, Jordan has some activities. Let's look and see. Only one aircraft. Look like it might be parked. Let's see. I don't want to say something that's not true. Yeah, it looks like it's parked or getting ready to take off. But there's nothing in Israel. Now we do have some activity right south of Jordan, and of course across the Egyptian airspace, and of course the Mediterranean is active, very active at this point. Of course, still nothing over Iran. And I may be mistaken. This plane might be must be just landed or not doing anything. I don't see it moving. It's moving. Take that back. I stand corrected. But earlier today, it was a furor of, it just didn't know. But however, it's still lots of air traffic south of Iran over United Arab Emirates and Oman. Plenty of air traffic on the southern portion of the airspace of the south of the Persian Gulf and the southern portion of the Persian Gulf. Plenty of airspace activity. However, hardly any activity, maybe just one aircraft flying over Iran. I don't know where it's going, but it looks like it's heading towards Pakistan, and that's the only aircraft flying, as far as I know. I don't see any other aircraft flying in Iran, and that's pretty suspicious. Yeah, it's pretty suspicious. It may be flying within the border, and then again, it may fly towards. Look like it's still on its way to Pakistan. So anything goes. Everywhere else, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, Armenia, pretty much, and Turkey airspace, and Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan airspace, full of traffic, full of traffic. Kazakhstan, full of traffic, no issues there. Of course, plenty of flying eastern portion of Kabul, Afghanistan. I mean, plenty of aircraft in Kabul, and plenty of activity there or near the Afghan border, and plenty of activity right at Pakistan airspace and India airspace. Now, one time you couldn't, no aircraft can enter or leave India to cross over Pakistan, and no aircraft from Pakistan could fly over India when there was, for they had both had their military confrontation. So we just don't know. Just don't know. And this is live. I mean, look at Europe. Good gosh, good lord. People, and of course they're flying over Russia airspace. Only a few, but the bulk of it, the United States. Good lord. In Western Europe, oh my goodness, lots of travel, lots of airspace commerce, a lot of that's trade too, of course. But everything looks good, of course, between Saudi Arabia, United UAE, and Oman looks great, but nothing. Kuwait's quiet. Iraq is quiet. Of course, this one aircraft is still flying, heading due east in Iran. Nothing new in the past 10 minutes. And I don't see anything that will raise a red flag. The Mediterranean, East Mediterranean, is full of aircraft. The Turkish region is full of aircraft. Of course, other than of course, Ukraine airspace is closed. Moldova airspace is closed. Romania is open. Belarus is not receiving much traffic, and of course from the Caspian Sea, there's plenty of traffic, air traffic, and through up and down, the Caspian Sea to Russia, particularly Moscow. I believe it's heading towards Moscow. Yep, pretty much spread out. I mean, Russia is a big country, so I mean, even within their own countrymen, probably flying from one place to another. Some just flying straight to China, others flying straight to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Mongolia, and maybe flying towards Japan. But and of course, Southeast Asia, if you will, but not too much. There's South America, aircraft flying there, United States, Canada, Iceland, of course, here. But back to Iran. Look at this big open bowl right here. Nothing. Even now, UA. Okay, okay. The aircraft is still there. Wait a minute, we got something here. Okay, we got an aircraft from Bahrain. Okay, from Bahrain heading to what? Dubai. But I mean, you're taking a heck of a. Which way you're going? Looks like you're heading towards Iran. Okay, look like you're heading towards Iran. Now, it could be delegates from Iranian. It could be something. I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it. And there's another one from Bahrain. Huh. I wonder is that Iran right here? Sharia Air International Airport. Let's see, Sharia. I thought I saw that before. That's probably Iran too. But yes, there's nothing else. There's some activity here. Not much. Look like things getting back to normal. Maybe I'm just safe to assume. But earlier, it was just interesting. It was just interesting. Um, whoops. But there's been some explosions. I can tell you that. There's been some explosion. So, I mean, I was just looking at Qatar and all the airspace here earlier. But according to Air Traffic 24, not much activity. Everything else just looks normal. And I'm checking. Let me see if there's any other breaking news. Let's see. Ground intercept missiles targeting U.S. Missile attack U.S. Oh, okay. Look like something happened here. Let me take you to this article. According to this Business Insider, new video shows U.S. forces getting hammered by barrage of Iranian missiles after Trump has had a top general killed. Hold on, what's the date on this? Oh, that's old school news. Guys, forgive me for that. Forgive me for that. That was a waste of time. Yeah, but it can happen. And this is YouTube video. Let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna see. Let me take a look here. Let's see. What's the date on this? Associate Press. You got to be careful, guys, of the information that we pull up. I have to be careful, and you should too, to make sure that it's as accurate, as credible, and accurate as possible. We don't want to pull up stuff that was back 4 years ago or 3 years ago. Uh, no, no, because I mean our base has been attacked before, and it was 4 years ago. We lost 11 personnels. Uh, 11 personnel injured. That was back then. Let's see. Hmm. We got a bunch of military installations, but I'm not seeing anything new other than they were shot down. Let me see. Anything? This is image. Hold on, guys. Let's see. Uh-huh. Okay, let's see here. I'm just checking into some, see if there's anything breaking. Today is the 23rd. I'm going to go ahead and bring this to you. This today, the 23rd. I'm still keeping an eye on Israel. still continue to get barraged by the Iranians and run out of missiles yet. But here's the deal: Pentagon sources confirm bases of Qatar, Kuwait, Iraq are among the most vulnerable to counterattack because they were within range of Iran rocket, drone, and short-range missiles. And these are some of the bases publicly, I'll say. That is as I can see it. That subject that are vulnerable. Let me see if I can zoom into it, if I may. Yeah, IUD. Okay, IUD Air Base, El Dafra Air Base, U.S. Navy Fifth Fleet in the Marine, and of course Al Salam Air Base, Kuwait, Al Tanf. And I'm not good in Arabic, so please forgive the butchering of Arabic names. Al Tanf Air Garrison, Syria, Assad Air Base, Iraq, Air Base, Iraq. So there's two bases. So that's bases from U.S. Department of Defense source. These are the bases. The bases that have been attacked. Their purpose: major U.S. Central Command and prime target. Let me go ahead and zoom down a bit. And of course, the United States does not seek war, but let me be clear. That's what the president said. We will act swiftly, decisively when our people are our partners or interests are threatened. Iran should listen to the president of the United States and know that he means it. Every word. U.S. have urged carrier strike group, including USS Nimitz and USS Carl Vinson, and has begun voluntary military descendant evacuation. There are currently over more than 40,000 U.S. troops stationed in the region. Interesting. So today's Monday. Qatar was hit. No casualty. All missiles were intercepted. Iran has warned its military has a free hand to attack U.S. targets after American B-2 bomb. I think it's more symbolic because if they really wanted to fight the United States, they would have kept on attacking until they overwhelmed the air defense artillery unit and missiles have hit their target. And of course, the president administration has assured that this is not a boots on the ground operation, but military commanders are making preparations Monday ahead of response. Now, if it spreads and it is becoming a point where our bases, our interests are in danger, and we need to knock out some of those uh, command control, more than just command and control centers, but more of this wherever that be a strategic concern that requires ground troops. I would be a bit surprised. But remember, Iran is mountainous. It's very hilly. It's not a flat piece of land like Saudi Arabia or some of the other Arab lands. It's pretty much a rocky mountain territory. So you just don't know. I mean, just like Afghanistan, it's pretty rocky and mountainous. It's dry. So is Iran. Okay. And they built their bunkers deep in those mountains. So they look at the geography of this. You know, it's pretty much mountainous, for what I can tell, and rough compared to what's over here in Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, where it's flat, and even Egypt. You know, until you get to where it's mountainous right here in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and of course the Kashmir region of India. But I'm not going to play that because copyright infringement, so I'm not going to play that. But I just wanted to share that with you. Um, let's look back at the air radar 24. It look like things about the normal, but I'm seeing Iran. Wait a minute, what we got here? Got aircraft. Got some flights right here in the middle of the Persian Gulf. You have, what's this? An aircraft flying in. I don't know if that's true. 11 p.m., 11:53. I mean, this is nighttime, guys. Be honest with you. Let's see, 3 a.m. in the morning. Ahmedabad. Let's see. Could be heading this way to Pakistan, something like that. Another aircraft. Okay. So it's starting to become bustling with traffic, but not that much. This one's on its way to Moscow. Let's see. Anything else? This Airbus is heading where? To Dubai. Let's see here. Kuwait City. The image is like in the wrong direction, but I mean Kuwait's right here. So it's no telling. It's no telling. Let's see what other news we have. And of course, this is the breaking news from other media sources. Now report that all Iranian missiles launched at U.S. bases were intercepted, and there are no casualties or no damage. So they've all been intercepted. Now I wonder why some of those missiles are hitting Israel and not being intercepted 100%. And of course, it seems like the Iron Dome is just not doing its job, but we'll see. Let me go ahead and do another. Let's check around, see if there's anything else new. I don't know what this is. What's this? That's not credible. Showing the same thing. People on mall, people on panic. Yeah, I'll be ready to get out of here. But thankfully, all missiles been shot down. 6 missiles fired at Qatar, 1 at Iraq. No, I'm not so sure. But anyway, 6 is right small. What's this one? Okay, has it been hit and the remnants has fell to the earth? No, that's like Israel. That is Israel. Let's see. Offered base and support. Bahrain handled naval communication. The attack was called Operation Midnight Hammer. So the United States wasn't alone. Oh, that's interesting. So Qatar provided aerial refueling. Saudi Arabia gave secret airspace access. United Arab Emirate offered base and support. Bahrain handled naval communications. And it was called Operation Midnight Hammer. Interesting. And Iran already warned if these bases interfere or support to the U.S., then of course they're a prime target as well. I don't see anything new on the big screen. Let me take a look over here. Now you see crude oil has dropped. I don't know how in the world that could ever happen. I mean, this is amazing. I mean, how in the world crude oil dropped? I mean, I know it would hurt the Russians, of course. You know, the Russian Soviet Union. You know, and I'll still call you Soviet Union. But anyway, I'm still not so sure how they can come up with the. How in the world can you say? Let's look at oil pricing, oil futures. Let's see, oil future. Oops. Are you serious? It was hovering probably at 74 at the most, what, 78.5, give or take. 73. and all of a sudden, wham, 67.58 per barrel of oil. I mean, that's just enough to bankrupt Russia. 67.51 and counting, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna keep an eye on that. I'm really gonna keep an eye on it. The market really took a dive. I mean, Bitcoin probably took a major dive as well. But usually, when the Middle East is concerned, in my opinion, somebody from Wake Up America family, correct me, but you would think price futures would jump to like 105 or maybe 150. I mean, let's look at year to date. All right, now it dropped. Now this is what, June 2nd, something to 225. It's been pretty steady low, but I guess they're anticipating it'll bounce back up by the 20th. But as of, I mean, this is the 20th. Oh, as of the 20th was 73.84. Okay, it's today's the 23rd. Hmm. Let's see, back in February, 78. Then it dropped 70. It dropped to 60. Then back to 71. I don't. There's no telling how this thing, the market. Let me see. High as it was in 2024 was $82, 82.81 USD. Let's see. And right now, it's good. God, that's a major drop. That is one major drop. There's nothing like that had happened since uh, June 16th. I don't know if that was this year, but I don't know. I'm just confused. Why does it drop so low to back to June 16th? Oh, you know what happened? Yeah, that's when we attacked the first time. Okay, we attacked on the 16th. All right. And then today they retaliate. So oil pricing recovers and then it went back down. I got it. I got it. I got it. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Let's see. Any other news? I mean, it's all known news that Iran has attacked the military base, but I think it's more symbolic. I was thinking that they would do a full barrage as they have done Israel, but I'm a little. What? Okay, here's breaking news. Um, Qatar joins U.S. to fight Iran. And I think some of the countries I have named that offer support, like Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, uh, and of course the Saudi military, probably have joined forces with the United States, leading the way to uh, support. So that means now they're in the crosshairs of Iran. This has, to me, in my opinion, has spread into a regional conflict. But yeah, nevertheless, U.S. bases has been hit. There's no new attacks or retaliatory strikes from U.S. as far as I can tell. Some places are still reporting yesterday's news. So it's Israel, United States, Qatar, Bahrain, and of course United Arab Emirate facing down, and for Kuwait as well, facing down the Islamic Republic of Iran. Step down, you will get a fair trial. And I see other news. the Prince of Iran has given the Ayatollah an opportunity to have a fair trial. And you're talking about years of years of foul treatment to the people. Let's see. I don't see any new updates. It looks pretty dry so far. Let me do one last thing. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Okay, I'm having okay, slow. Still a little slow. Okay. Oh, that's basically an hour ago. Nothing new. And now there is something strange going on, guys. Let's move the map all the way up to the north. We're going to take this map north. Okay. Now, I don't know everything that's going on, but I'm a Cold War vet, and I always believe in facing the Soviet Union. That's when I joined the army back in 1984 to face down the great Satan, who was the Soviet Union, Russia. Well, now I'm just going to put the map here. I'm just going to touch on it just a little bit. But it looks like, of course, it's already known news that, of course, Finland has joined NATO and Sweden has joined NATO as well for obvious reason. And you notice up and down the Finland border, Russia, the strange thing that's here, that's what I've seen here, is that Russia has moved over 100,000 soldiers and assets to the Finland border. Now, I'm not sure what Russia is up to, but if you look at this border region and look at the land as a whole, there's not much hard to land or territory you can really roll heavy armored vehicles around, especially in the dead of winter. So I don't know if they're moving air assets, missile assets, just to bombard Finland, or are they going to do a full scale invasion of Finland? Uh, but it looks to me that he's getting his troops in preparation uh, to make a decision. I'm not saying that they will invade or they won't, but history always repeats itself. This used to be all the way up to here. Used to be Finland territory at one time. All this was Finland until Stalin went on a land grab to make sure that St. Peter is safe. Okay, but look at this land. Look at all this water, all these lakes, all these lakes. I mean, the preferred land is like somewhere through Poland, Lithuania, Estonia, uh, you know, Latvia, go through Belarus, Ukraine, to Central Europe and Eastern Europe. But if you're looking at sending troops to Finland, it don't look like a good idea, but it's possible. The Soviet Union moved through these lakes when they're frozen, of course, and of course, even during the spring and summer. However, but the only way I can see they can move through easily is right through the southern portion of Finland and then move north. That's the only way I can see it. It's to a total loop around the solid ground areas and then take over this part right here in the central, southern, because there's not that much lake, but it's just like saturated with lakes and waterways right here and swamp. Of course, there's some swamp areas, but I'm a little concerned. Russia is sending troops, and they already pre-positioning assets for a while. So I was wondering, of course, they're doing military drills up there too. What is their handle, and why would they do a land grab so far up north? Only Russia can answer that question. I'm quite sure NATO has already been watching for a while. So we'll have to see, guys. I mean, I'm not going to have any videos on this, but I mean, it's something you want to keep your eyes on. You definitely want to keep your eye on Estonia and Latvia and Lithuania, because you know Belarus going to let Moscow march on through anyway. So we'll just have to see, wait and see. But back down to Iran, uh, pretty much the same deal here. Let me look at the oil futures again. I'm gonna do a refresh. Wait a minute. 67.47. Look like it dropped some more. 67.26. Yeah, it did as a 425. It did drop some more. It's still dropping. It is past that line. It is still dropping. $67.26 per barrel of oil, crude oil. So we just got to pray and hope for the best and see what happens. Let's see. Any other news? And of course, they celebrating. The Iranians are celebrating, uh, saying we hit peaceful nuclear facility. Yeah, right. Iran struck the largest U.S. base in the Middle East in response to this blatant aggression against the nation. Wow. And of course, they got their revolutionary emblem right there. Let's see. Anything else? Nope. Nope. Now, that's interesting. Now, I don't know how true this is, guys. I'm gonna call them. I don't know how true this is, but look here. Look here, right here. That's my wife calling. She's probably trying to see if I'm ready for the gym. Now, I see explosions right there. Is that a military base right there? Wow, that's some hits right there. You know, President Trump just named the strike from Iran very weak, but I don't know. It looked like something being hit here. Yep, look, guys, I'm gonna have to go. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. This thing could go out, spiral out of control. So we'll just have to see. I mean, this looked like missile attacks had just hit the military, some type of location unknown. I don't know what it is. Somebody saying World War III. I'm not going to say that, but I don't know. British government say if Iran attacks U.S. base, we'll take action as this an attack on NATO ally. That's mighty nice of the Brits. Uh, a lot of people talking about it right now. The United States has just issued a shelter-in-place order for Americans in Qatar. Qatar has closed its airspace. And again, Qatar, we already looked at their airspace so far, but I mean, this is like let me see how many hours. 3 hours ago, Syria was attacked, no casualties. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia expressed condemnation and denunciation in the strongest term possible for the aggression launched by Iran against the brotherly states of Qatar, which constitute a flagrant violation of international law and the principles of good neighbor an entirely unacceptable act that cannot be justified under any circumstances. The kingdom affirmed a fully solidarity with an unwavering support to the state of Qatar and placed all of its capabilities at Qatar's disposal in support of any measure it may take. So, guys, I mean, this is pretty much it. I'm had to cut it short. I'm getting ready to head out and do a little workout, a little training. Hopefully, get my body back into to working condition. But anyway, what question do you have? Do you believe this can spiral into a regional conflict? It pretty much has. I mean, you got Qatar. I mean, Syria, Qatar, UAE, Bahrain, in support of the United States and provided support. So the question is, what's going to happen next? What's going to be the next step? So we'll find out soon, guys. But in the meantime, keep praying, keep your head down, keep an eye on what's going on. Watch credible information. Make sure you don't put out stuff that's not true. But just pray for our nation, pray for our president, pray for the peace of Jerusalem, Israel, and also the Middle East in general. Let's hope for the best. In the meantime, this is triple double A of Airborne, who is signing out. Family, thanks again. Wake Up America for supporting us.